Alright, Horror Hounds, and welcome to another episode of This Just In. As you can see, my setup is a little bit different. So I had gotten a camera to use, start shooting some of these things, and then my microphone broke, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to do anything, so I've been playing around figuring some stuff out, and hopefully my sound quality is not atrocious. But here it is, finally. Season 2 of Chucky, Episode 8, the finale episode, where we get a nice Christmas feel. So in this episode, we kind of learn exactly what I had said had happened. Dr. Mixer wasn't Dr. Mixer anymore. Somehow Chucky had done the swap and put Dr. Mixer in the Chucky doll, and he was in Dr. Mixer's body, and then he runs back to her place, knows the password, and puts himself into another Chucky doll. Then we fast forward a few weeks, so it's Christmas time. And Lexi brings Jake home, and her Christmas present to Jake is Devin. So Devin is there, and Jake feels like he needs to get Devin something, because he didn't get him anything. So he leaves. I think it's about 3 days later, we finally we see Jake come back with a gift. That's one of the things that makes absolutely no sense, is that he leaves, days pass by, and then he's back with a gift. So I don't know where he stayed when he has no family, no home to stay in while he's out on the streets looking for stuff, but he was. And then Devin ends up getting podcast equipment, and he's pretty pissed off because he hasn't done a podcast in a good year or more, and it's not really his thing anymore, and it's just more of where Jake's not really understanding how Devin feels and a little bit more relationship troubles. But Merry Christmas, they do end up to kind of be on the same page when it's all said and done. As we're following that along, we also kind of get the Tiffany and the Glenda story. So Tiffany ends up having to bring the Glenn doll into the hospital, and she sneaks it in as like a doctor who brings a briefcase into her room. A cop comes in, knows it's Jennifer Tilly, and she's wanted, and they end up killing him anyways. Defibrillator to the head, sets him on fire. Seems a bit extreme, but hey, anytime you can throw flames in there, why the hell not? And then what happens is Glenn and Glenda's souls both go back into the Glenn doll. So I had originally thought just Glenn was going to go in, but it looks like they both go in here. A little bit of a swerve. And when they do, I knew this was already happening because in the opening credits, Don Mancini, I wish you didn't show Billy Boyd's name, because if you don't know, in Seed of Chucky, Billy Boyd is the one who voices Glenda character. So since I saw his name, I knew this was happening. I mean, you kind of knew already, but it would have been a cool little surprise, because all the characters in this show, when they go into a doll, have the same voice, but Glenn and Glenda don't. And they do make up their own shit rules on why this is not a thing. They're practicing their English accent or whatever. But it is what it is. And then Jennifer Tilly, Tiffany, she takes off, and she's off to find the Belle doll, which, thanks to Lexi's mom, she knows that they have one, so she's going to head there. In the meantime, Chucky has been a good boy this year, and he decided that he deserves the world's quietest chainsaw. That's what it says in the advertisement. World's quietest chainsaw. And he orders it with a debit card, credit card that literally says Chucky on it. So that's a little bit too into the humor for me on that one. It's a little thing, but it's like, it would have made more sense if he had Dr. Mixer's card, since she's a real person. Chucky himself is not. But he gets a chainsaw. So then we go to Christmas night. He comes down the chimney, Tiffany's in the house trying to sneak around to find this Belle doll. Chucky ends up trying to come up behind her. Lexi's mom comes down the stairs and confronts Tiffany. And Tiffany's saying how she needs this doll because she lost those 72 other ones. And we see Chucky jump off from the stairs now with the world's quietest chainsaw and splits her in half. He's pushing that chainsaw right down the middle of her body, and you see his little feet kicking, so that's a little homage. A lot of Chucky movies always show him on a character with his feet kicking like crazy. They just love that version of the doll that they have. So they put it in here while he's chainsawing through a lady. So, very bloody, very gory. It's a very, very nice kill. But it's a chainsaw. Even the world's quietest chainsaw would still wake up everybody. So, Lexi ends up coming downstairs, and she winds up knocking down Chucky, and she puts a chainsaw through his face multiple times. Tiffany runs upstairs and ends up getting stabbed a bunch of times by Jake and by Devin. And during this whole process, she ends up kind of limping away a little bit, and she finds Lexi's little sister, and Lexi's little sister stops them from trying to kill her, and they take off together. And Lexi's little sister now is a bad person because Chucky always told her that she was adopted. Lexi's not really the sister, and that someday this woman would come for her, and that woman was Tiffany. So somehow this is all one big wrapped up plan. So they take off, and now the kids are stranded where even Lexi has no parents left, but she's got a vendetta to find her sister. And we finally get to see the cliffhanger from season 1, the teacher with the red hair, the science teacher I think she was. She didn't do a whole lot, but she comes in and now she's kind of the caretaker. It looks like Prime Chucky is dead. His face was chainsawed through a bunch of times. And we cut to Tiffany sitting in a room in New York. And she gets a phone call. It's Nika. And Nika's watching her from another building, even though she's got new hairstyle and everything else. And Nika says she's coming to get her. So Tiffany is in kind of an angst. And she's got the old devil star on the floor. She's got the bell down in there, and when she tries to, I think she says summon, which is something she's never said in any movie before. They never have, or any of the episodes for the last 2 seasons. But what ends up happening is nothing happens, and then we see the bell doll get up, and with a little bit of it's a Chucky doll. So now he can do that whole witchcraft face morphing shit from if you ever watched the movie The Craft. The one girl turns herself into the other girl, and then just with a quick little wipe of her face, she's actually herself again. That's what Chucky does here. So neat fun, something new. So then we see Chucky charging at Tiffany as she screams, and the show ends. Sort of. We do get a little montage of Chucky at the end, talking to the audience again, and he runs through his kill count super fast this year, and the show's over. And overall, I just felt like this season was meh. The last episode had some cool kills in it, but it didn't really tie anything together. It didn't seem like it fit. So my overall feelings, the episode's fun. Everybody loves a good Christmas episode. I wish it was a little bit more Christmassy for being specifically had to be a Christmas episode. I wish it tied into the story. It didn't. This season was a lot like that. Episode 1 was just Halloween. And then something happens to put the kids in the school. And then the kids are in this Catholic church school. But we're doing episodes of just full kids. Then we do episodes of just Tiffany and Nika. Then the kids, and that weird-ass Knives Out version of Chucky with Tiffany. And that whole episode surrounds her, which I thought was a very fun episode. It was good. But it didn't really like, it introduced Glenn and Glenda, but other than that, it didn't really do anything for the story, which is my overall feeling on this season, which I think I said like 2 videos ago. It's like, what the fuck is the story here? And there really isn't one. Lexi's fighting addiction, and she knows that it's brought onto her by her mom. Her mom dies. Now she's going to be dealing with that. But there's really no overall arc for her because she kind of feels like she's doing better, and then she's in the same. So where is she at now? She's missing her sister. Jake and Devin have 8 full weeks of we're together, but we're a little bit rough around the edges. You know, they're just kind of butting heads a lot. But they still wind up at the end of the thing being like, yeah, we're good to go. So it's like, what the fuck is going on here? It was a whole lot of nothing that just kind of took place in a setting. And yeah, the Catholic Church setting was decent. But that's just it. It was decent. It wasn't anything. It's not a storyline. There was no real overarching storyline for this. And that was, to me, the biggest downfall of this season was, what the fuck is going on? You introduce 72 Chuckies. You throw them off a bridge. You randomly have a Chucky that turns into a good guy Chucky. You have a muscular Chucky. You have one that's like a colonel. And then you have Prime Chucky. You got Chucky in Nika's body. You got Chucky in Devin Sawa's body. You get Chucky in Dr. Mixer's body. So you get a lot of people kind of playing their version of Charles Lee Ray. And you get, obviously, the man himself, Brad Dourif, just doing a lot of different iterations of a Chucky voice, which was neat and cool, but there was nothing really here to grab onto. And for the most part, I actually did enjoy this season until about halfway through when I found out we are going nowhere. And there's nothing really happening a lot here. So, what the fuck? And that's how I felt about the whole season. It was just like, what the fuck? Like, season 1 was, to me, it was very good. I was left wanting more. I was like, afterwards, I can't wait for fucking season 2. And they had gotten the green light for season 2 before it even ended. As of right now, to my knowledge, there is no green light for season 3. I know Don Mancini said if he didn't get another season, he would still make movies. But at this point, like, where the fuck are you going to go with a movie? You just drilled us with 8 hours of stuff, and it didn't get anywhere. So what are you going to do in an hour and a half? I don't know. And then the ending, I mean, they make it seem like Prime Chucky's dead, but then he's not. And they keep killing off all these Chucky dolls. And by the time it gets done with, you know he's not dead. But the one thing that I did think of was, I don't think he's going to kill off Tiffany, because Jennifer Tilly's just been so vocal about her feelings towards the whole Child's Play franchise. And she's been an integral part since Bride of Chucky. And when Lexi was chainsawing Prime Chucky's face, I thought, well, the cops are going to come. That's going to go into evidence. So now we're going to get Chucky can't kill Tiffany because he can't go to the police station and get this doll himself. And we're going to get the beginning of Bride of Chucky here in the next season or movie. It's going to play homage to the opening of that, call up the police officer, get him to bring it, do Tiffany's favorite fucking kill with a nail file to the throat. And they're going to stitch his face back up. And then in the seasons, we're going to have an iteration of Chucky with the stitch-up face, like we saw for quite a few of the movies. And that's kind of just a way to kind of circle back to more stuff that Don Mancini's done, because he does like to tie it in. Another gripe I had with this season was I felt like the movie homages were to the fucking max. Like, all it was movie homages. To the point where it wasn't even, like, in the first season, he would follow a director and kind of take, like, shots a director did, storytelling kind of like another director did, and stuff like that. So it was like an homage to this director. And now he's trying to do homages to movies, and, like, we have a whole Knives Out Clue type episode. We get the Marlon Brando episode from Apocalypse Now. I mean, we get a straight up fucking Exorcist episode. I don't know if the Christmas one really copies anything. It just kind of felt like they were throwing it in there. So you get 3 of them that are pretty much movie knockoffs, and 2 of them are holiday specials. And that's 5 out of 8. So I don't think this season was as good as season 1. I don't think it's as terrible as a lot of people make it out to be. I do think that the Glenn and Glenda character was handled perfectly for how they had ended it off with Seed. It was not at a good spot, and it seemed pretty good. But I do think that the main 3 characters that we're supposed to be following for these seasons just had nothing to do, and it was just kind of like, here, let's put them here, and that's good. That's good. They're there. We can do shit. Okay. But they didn't do anything. Like, they did shit, but it didn't have any storyline. We don't know why Chucky has this master plan. We don't really know what Dr. Mixer's shit was. We just know, hey, she used to watch Chucky when he was a kid in that school, and she made sure he stayed evil. Cool. But that's my overall thoughts on this. Sorry about the delay. I know it's been a good solid week or more since this has been out, and probably since you guys are watching this. I do have some things I'm going to be working on in the near future. I do know I'm going to go see the new Violent Night movie. I'll do a review on that. I know I'm going to go see Avatar 2. I'll do a review on that. I am going to hit up a couple of Christmas movies this month. I'll probably do Krampus, and I'm going to do my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I watch it every single year. Die Hard. And then I do want to start a series where I'm kind of going to do like a first-time view. So I'm going to watch a movie that is widely popular that I haven't seen before. And I'm going to watch it, write down my thoughts, and come on here and tell you guys what I think about it. If you have any suggestions, just put them in the comments below. Let me know if there's movies that you would love to see me review. And you can do it with any of the videos coming up. Like I said, I don't really have a rhyme or reason. I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm going to see what feels good. Out of new movies that are coming out, old movies that I haven't seen yet, the first one of that series that I'm going to do is going to be Avatar. I never watched the first one. Skipped right past it. It was not my cup of tea in my eyes. But I'm going to give it a watch because my wife really loves the first one, and we're going to be going for her birthday to see the second one. So I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to review it. Until the next one, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave the comments down below. Turn on the notification bell so you can tell when my next video comes out. They will be a lot more sooner than the last ones, I promise. Till the next one, guys, rest in peace.